Alright guys, back with another Dayz tutorial. So I want to try and make this one as quick as I can. Two things with this one. So I did make a video not so long ago showing you how you can change currency if you're using the Dayz expansion market system. And there's something I forgot to put in that video or mention, and not that I actually forgot, I actually didn't realize I needed to do this. I had a couple of comments saying I didn't do it. It got me thinking. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've done that, but it got me thinking a bit more. So I've rechecked the wiki, and I'm like, yeah, there's something I forgot to show you, so I'm going to correct that. Also, I've had a comment asking when you buy a vehicle from the trader, how you get the spawn point for that. So I'm going to show that in this video too. So I'm going to try and get more to the point rather than ramble on. So I'll just show you what you need to do. And that's kind of it. It's not going to be kind of any sort of like advanced things on top of it. Just basically what you got to do. Also, link to the wiki I'll put in the description, and link to my other video where I showed you how to set up the whole thing for doing your currency. Will be a link to that in the description box as well. So you will need to probably go and watch that and then come back to this, or remember this part, go back to the other video if you haven't already set up your currency. Right, enough rambling on, let's get to it. So whatever your profiles folder is on your server, navigate to that. Mine's called profiles. Then you want to go to your expansion mod system, expansion mod folder, sorry, not system, and then to your market folder. Once in here, you want to find your exchange.json file. So it should be alphabetical order. So it should be somewhere. There we go. So find your exchange.json file, and we're going to open that up. Now, I understand that some of you may not be able to open it up in your control panel if you are using a control panel and you need to download via like an FTP program. So go ahead, download the file, make your changes in whatever notepad system you want to use, save it, and then re-upload it to your server, of course. But once you've got this file open, now if you've watched my other video, you should already have this set up with whatever currency you're using. In my case, I'm using dollars. Now, the thing I forgot to show you, or didn't show you, not that like I said, not that I didn't forget, I just didn't know, is the max price threshold and min price threshold. You need to set this number at the end of them to whatever the currency value should be. Now, these were all 1-1, which is fine if you for like the $1 bill or for anything that's worth $1. That's fine. But for example, now with the $2 bill or $5 bill, all the way down in my case to $100, you need to change the max and min price threshold to the value. So as you already seen, the $2, I want that to be worth $2. It's called $2 bill, so I changed the number to 2. Now it's now setting the price, saying this dollar is worth $2. Same for the $5. We done the 5-1. So you can see from there what you got to do, right? Just match the numbers pretty much to the dollars. Quickly, I will say, just because say this one is $20, this is a $20 note, it doesn't necessarily have to be worth $20. If you really wanted it to, you can make it be worth 30 or $1. And the reason why I mention that is because you can also use things like coins, gold bars, nuggets, like bitcoins. You can actually use them as currency, and you would just input them in here the same way, but you would just need to obviously set how much they're worth. Now, there would obviously be the other files. So if you go back and watch my other video, there are other files where you need to put in the class names of these currency, and how you tell the files what currency to use. So if you was using bitcoins or gold bars, that sort of thing, you'd obviously need to go and do that in the other files. And like I said, link to that video is going to be in the description. So if you haven't already done that, if you already haven't set up your Dayz market system, it's going to be quite important you go and watch the other video. Right, anyway, so that's enough rambling on. Like I said, I don't want to go too much into it. So that's the important bit, is make sure you set the max and min price threshold set the numbers to the value of what you want each currency or each note or coin to be, because it doesn't always have to be notes, it can be coins. Right, and then obviously save that, upload it. That's that corrected. As far as I'm aware, that is all that corrected, and that's done. Next thing is to address the question of how do you set vehicle spawns. So for that, we need to go to your MP mission folder and go to whatever map you're using. So in my case, I'm just going to be using the Sarov map, so I'll be using my offline.sarov mission folder. And then you want to find your expansion folder. Now, in going to that one, and inside that one, we go to settings, and then it is market settings. Yeah, that's the one. Right. So the bit we want to look for is, now if you already haven't changed anything, by default, I believe yours will look something across the line like that. So you got land spawn positions, air spawn positions, and water spawn positions, and you've got obviously the square brackets next to it. Now you also look like that. Now to input positions, you're going to want to put in your position where you want the vehicle to spawn within these two square brackets, and it needs to be structured basically as you can see there. Now these don't have to be on separate lines, like these red positions, these could all be on one line. Me myself, I like to have it separate lines so it's easier and clearer to see, you know, what you're working with. Also, I like to do this like nipple bracket, as I call it. I like to put this on a separate line so it's a bit below, and the same down here at the bottom one. That's just me. I like to do it so it's all separately, but these can be on the same line. Right, now to get this, you're going to want to go to the wiki. I mean, you can either pause the video and just copy how I've got there, or go to a link in the description. We're just going to go to the Dayz wiki. Right, and this is the link I'll provide for this one. And then on the right side here, go to your market settings general tab. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom. I would suggest reading this, because this explains how this how this market settings JSON file works. But just scroll all the way down to the bottom. Of course, you know, read this beforehand or afterhand. But for the purpose of the video, scroll to the bottom, find where it says raw file, and click on the blue link underneath. Right, inside there, find the bit where you've got the land spawn positions. Now, it doesn't matter if you take it from land spawn, you can take it from the air spawn or even the water spawn. It's exactly the same. If you are doing water spawn, obviously, if you want to do this for boats, make sure you put it in the water spawn category or section rather than land spawn, and the same for air spawn. Now, I'd imagine air spawn, things are still going to spawn in the ground. I don't believe you can actually spawn stuff in the air and make it float. So I think land spawn and air spawn are the same, but I've not tested it. But before we get too far ahead, so when you get to this bit from the wiki, copy from line 21, so this nipple bracket. And if you don't know why I call it nipple bracket, it's because it looks like it's got a little nipple on the end, and I actually don't know the proper name for it, so I just find it more better to call it a nipple bracket. And then copy all the way down to, in my case, line 32. So from 21 to 32, and we actually don't need, if you can see it above my cursor, we actually don't need the comma at the end. I'm just going to copy it, but you'd essentially copy that, go back to your file that you was just in, so the market settings.json file, and you would put in that position. We'll just do it in the air spawn position, for example. So you just go in between the two brackets and paste it in, just like so. And then, like I said, me personally, I like to make everything on a separate line. And then also, like I mentioned, the comma at the end of that nipple bracket, you just get rid of it at the end. You only need, if we was to add multiple positions, so if we go back to the wiki, you can see in the land spawn, we've got one position there, we've got a second position there, we've got a third position there, and it goes down and down. There's a few positions, but between each position, so at the end of this first position, we've got a comma which separates it to the next one. So you only add a comma before the next position set, if that makes sense, just to separate it. But on the very last one, so you can see here, the very last one, there is actually no comma. And because this is the only one basically within the land. So within the land spawn, I'm obviously going to delete this air spawn one because that was just an example. But let me just delete that just so we don't get confused. Right, so for the land spawn, this is what you're probably going to be typically working with. You can see, because this is the only one we haven't got the comma at the end. And that's it. And of course, to get your position, you can do this multiple ways. If you're using VPP admin tools, the best way I like to do things is either get your character in game, look at the ground or look at the sky. Don't look at an object because you'll copy that object position. Look at the ground, look at the sky, and press P, and it should copy the player's position. It'll pop up in the top left corner that what it's copied. So if it says it's copied an object position, like whatever, that's wrong. Make sure it's copied your position. Or the easiest way is to actually spawn a vehicle, drive that vehicle to where you want it, get out of the vehicle, and then put your cursor on the vehicle and press P and copy the vehicle position, and then you will actually get the exact position and orientation of where you want that vehicle to spawn, and then you just put in the position there. So you got like your X, Y, and Z position, and then this one is like your orientation, which way it faces. I think that's it. And yeah, obviously save it, restart your server. Make sure or start your server. Do make sure your server's stopped. It's the best practice. But yeah, any other questions, anything that I've probably not mentioned or you're confused about, as always, come and join Discord and feel free to either message me or more preferably make a ticket. And then we can go from there. But I think that clears some stuff up. And yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, peace out.